reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
MMO Reporter's PAX Prime coverage is brought to you by Dragon Fantasy, The Black Tome of Ice, a 16-bit styled JRPG coming soon on Steam, iOS, Android, 3DS, and Wii U.
Hey everybody, Chris here from MMO Reporter, and I'm talking to Ben, who is the product manager on Elite Dangerous. Now, Matt and I just had a chance to sit down with the Xbox One controllers in hand, and we got to do some close quarters combat. It looks like a variation of that, and we had a lot of fun. What was the driving decision and behind bringing Elite to the Xbox?
So we've always wanted to reach as many customers as we can. We want to have as many players as we can. And it just seemed like a natural thing to do with the Xbox One. We've been working with Microsoft for years. They reached out to us. We knew we wanted to do something anyway. And when they talked about the game preview program, we knew it was perfect. I mean, we've got all the expertise in bringing games, using the community, going through a beta process. We've done it all before with the PC and Mac. And we just knew it was the perfect fit. It was a perfect opportunity. And the fact that we can go on the game preview program and offer the game for like $30.99, I think it is, it's crazy, outrageous value for a one-to-one recreation of the Milky Way.
Yeah. And it's a very, it must be a bit of a design challenge, and again, not a designer here, to bring it to or at least a programming challenge or something, because this is a very large game, and this has a big scope to it, which some people would think might tax console hardware quite a bit. How have you been finding it's been designing for the Xbox?
Yeah, so there was some people said it was going to be impossible, which you should never ever say to my boss. That's like a red rag to a bull. So there was two major challenges. First one was a technical one. Now, bringing 400 billion star systems to the Xbox One, but that wasn't actually the hardest thing. They managed to do it without making any compromises, so you're playing exactly the same experience. We knew that we had to hit 1080p, we had to have 60 frames, and you can see it's running and it's looking beautiful. What usually happens is every time we go to a new platform, everyone ends up getting a fringe benefit. So I think one of the guys was saying when we came to Mac that on his PC rig, he got like a 40 frames boost.
Wow.
And the same kind of thing's happening again. When we go to Xbox, it's improving the PC, it's improving the Mac, because we have to do so much performance. The biggest challenge was actually the usability and bringing across the 115 keyboard keys, flight sticks, knob dials, and making that all work on an Xbox One control pad. And the designers have done an outstanding job. They've added this whole extra layer of control on top. We've got these context actions where you press and hold buttons, and they bring up controls that are kind of relative to you, around you. So you actually press and hold a button, press the D-pad, and it's like when you look around and the UI's around you, it works in the same way. And you'll see people who've been playing for about 5-10 minutes who are already picking up all the core functions, because really in Elite you use, say, about 10-15 things all the time, and so we found that people are actually using the context menu so quickly that it doesn't even appear on screen. It's like when you're playing a game like Red Dead Redemption, you want to get out your shotgun, you press and hold that button, you press in a direction, and you just know where it is because you've been using it, and it's exactly the same, and it just works naturally.
Now, I had, bring it to Xbox. Most people have their Xbox on their TVs in their living rooms. For a while, I was reviewing a 4K TV as a computer monitor for a while, so I had Elite on that 40-inch 4K TV, inches away. I'd sit down, get the flight sticks out, turn off the lights, turn up the speakers, and that was quite the experience. So now that you've got people who are naturally putting it on that big thing, that must be kind of cool to see that immersive experience grow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've just done exactly the same thing. I bought a new PC and I hooked it up to my TV. So I've got I play at home with an Xbox One control pad. I play at work on flight sticks, but I have exactly the same thing. I've got the 5.1. I sit there. I get lost in the graphic detail. I'm sadly not rich enough to have a 4K. I've got 2.5K, but it's just the eye-popping detail. The fact you can see the stars, and the fact you can point to any one of those stars and just travel in that direction, and in real time it will be rendered in front of you. It's such an immersive experience.
Yeah. Now, you've been talking about more content for the PC as well. I believe you got a patch coming up in the next little while?
Yep, so fortunately we are showing CQC here on the Xbox One, but we're going beyond that. One of the surprises we had for everyone was that we're actually dropping CQC, which is Close Quarter Combat Championship, for everyone at the same time. So that was a real nice thing to be able to do for everyone.
Which wasn't the original plan, right? It was going to come out for Xbox through the testing first and then come to PC, right?
So the whole idea was the Xbox audience is the perfect test bed. We've been testing all the features on PC, and the Xbox One was the perfect place for PvP. We know that audience loves PvP, and we know they don't mind telling us when they don't like it. So we want to work with the community. We want that feedback, and it's why it's been available for a little while now. We want to keep refining and tweaking, and so that's why I can't tell you exactly when it's coming out, but it is only a few weeks away, and it will be dropping on PC, Mac, and Xbox One on the same day.
Wow, that's pretty huge, because a lot of games that have multiple platforms do not have patches that release at the same time.
Yeah, well, it's a conscious decision. It's something that's hard. It's a tough decision we had to make. The team kind of went, what? But we knew we kind of had to do it because we want to have one community. We don't want it splintering off and all the Xbox players playing one world. We have all the PC players doing one thing, all the Mac players doing another thing, and it's like, oh, well, we killed the Emperor in our world. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. So while they all share the same background simulation, we didn't want to go that extra boundary and have the Xbox players shooting the PC players. You don't really get that extra. The experience is still the same when you're all locked in, but it's important that the community is one, so you're sharing that same story.
And as you're moving forward, I know one of the things for me when I jump into Elite is I'm not the type of player who can go in and just make my own game as I play, go out and find my own things to do. And I know you started moving in that direction with Power Play, but as you're moving along in the future, for players like me who need just a little bit more, they love the game, they love the mechanics, I love to go in with my flight stick and just fly my ship, but I want more to do. Are you doing anything for me?
Yeah, so it's always a tough balance. When we've consciously made a game that's hard, we've consciously made a game where we want people to be challenged, we want people to make decisions that have real consequence, and there's always this kind of balancing act. Now, the way we're trying to do it, we're looking at this whole new season of content with Elite Dangerous Horizons, and we're just trying to fill in more gameplay into this play space. We've got 400 billion star systems, the canvas is big enough. I always think of it like a toy box. We've got this huge toy box and we have a bunch of toys in there. We just want to keep putting more toys in there. We want to have more things you can find. We want to make it easier for people to stumble across stuff. And I think we've been sort of on this tightrope of getting that usability balance with challenge. And I think you'll see over the next year or so, there's going to be various little tweaks. So sometimes, like a big feature like planetary landings is exciting to one person, but actually just fixing a small UI bug is even more significant to hundreds of thousands of our players. So we're going to be doing more and more gameplay-driven decisions in the next year.
So, just to as we move forward, is everything going to be concurrent between all the different platforms?
So initially, we're launching Elite Dangerous Horizons on the PC. We're doing that first, much like we have in the first season. We launched on the PC first, and then we had the Mac come along, and we're having to sort of develop things in that same way. We have to be super pragmatic because we can't battle on all fronts and deliver such a huge experience. So initially we'll be launching on the PC, and we'll hopefully have more news in the future.
Thanks so much for your time, Ben. We really enjoyed talking. We really appreciated a chance to play the game today, and can't wait to see all the new content in the future.
Yeah. I could be here for hours talking about planetary landings and driving rovers and flying in the systems, and yeah, I just can't wait to put it in people's hands.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.